Brother, welcome to the Be the Torch podcast. You have been sold a lie. The lie that you, especially if you are a man who's gone through a divorce and now you have your children on your own. I don't care if you're in a new relationship or not. Bottom line is you had children with someone else. You're no longer with that person. And you have either shared custody or some level of custody of your children. You've been sold a lie. And that lie is this, that you can give 100% of you to your business, that you can give 100% to your children, and that you can give 100% to yourself. That's 300%. You're just one guy. And so that challenge of trying to split your time between those three pillars is impossible. And it's overwhelming. It's draining, and it's suffocating dudes just like you. So that's why I'm glad you're here, because we're going to work through this. And in the brief amount of time that we have here on the podcast, really, I want to recognize that this is not what is taught. This is not what a lot of the information that's out there is about: how to save your marriage, how to have a thriving marriage, how to have a thriving business, how to grow your business. No one ever talks about this stuff that gets swept under the rug, which is, man, I lost it all. Now what the hell do I do? And so you have contributed to the situation that you're in now. So we need to get to a place where we can get to the darkness, meet you there, and start to work your way up towards seeing the light. In this episode here, fellas, I'm going to speak directly to this real problem of an impossible triangle: your business, your kids, and you. And the challenge is that the business, men are mainly, that's our number one. And unfortunately, when you go through a divorce, the oftentimes the partner, your now co-parent, maybe their attorneys if they have them, or judges if you went that route, they're all looking at the fact that, oh yeah, the business is your number one. And so we will award the custody in proportion to the amount of time that you have because you're busy with your business. I'm not getting into any of that legality stuff. That's not what I'm here to do. What I am here to do is just recognize that I get it, and that's painful. I've been down that path. And I also know your passion and your drive to grow your business, and that you want to show up fully for it. And I also know that if you're here, you're also passionate about being a father, and you want to show up fully for your kids. And I also recognize in the third leg of this triangle here is that you're starting over. Do not swipe that under the rug. You're starting over. You're rebuilding a house. You're rebuilding a relationship with your kids in a different way because maybe you only have them part-time or half-time or whatever it is. You're rebuilding yourself as a man who's coming out of divorce, or if you've been in divorce for many years, then you're still like, okay, I want to maybe find a new relationship or find a new community of friends. It's just, you are rebuilding. So there's three pieces to this triangle. And really, it's impossible to try and be one person to all those things. And unfortunately, no one talks about this. So let's talk about it. Let's recognize that it's not easy, and let's figure out how to do this. So every hour, ultimately, that you spend in your business robs you of yourself and your kids. Every hour you spend on yourself robs you of your business and your kids. Every hour you spend on the kids robs you of yourself and your business. You can see how it all goes down, especially when you haven't seen the kids for a week or whatever determined time you have not seen them, and you want to pour into them because you miss them and you want to have that connection. You want to build a relationship with them with the limited amount of time that you have. And that can be difficult when you have demands and meetings and tasks to do and priorities in business. And oh yeah, what happens to you when the kids come? Where do you fit in all that? So we want to make sure that you recognize that this is not easy, and you don't have to subscribe to this challenge that you're facing. There is a way to go about it a bit differently. So what I've done is I've just kind of mapped out, I'm just kind of looking at my map here ways in which we can break this down step by step. So I'm going to create 3 simple steps just to understand how we can address this and overcome it. So first, it's the mindset shift. Like everything, that's the foundation. And the thing about the mindset shift is, well, 2 things. Well, number 1, you came from this nucleus. We're all together. We're a family mindset. And maybe you had help with your partner, your children's mother. Maybe she was staying at home, or maybe she also worked, but also helped out, and you guys were collaborative in that. You don't have that anymore. So you can't be thinking along those lines that, oh, she has it. She's doing the laundry. She's making the meals. She's picking up and dropping off, and now I don't have that. And what the hell do I do? It's a mindset shift. You got to think about it differently. Like when you have the kids, you are full-time parent. You're fathering alone. And again, I say that with an asterisk because I know a lot of you are already in a new relationship and you may have some help and support there. We'll have that in a different conversation because that's an important and delicate piece to be mindful of. So what we don't want to do is try to balance things, because I think balance is bogus. You're either growing or dying. There is no standing still. So it's a losing game to try to balance these things. So step number 2 is we want to get out of this 3-legged stool. Like we've got these 3 separate silos that we live in, and we want to merge them all together into 3 missions serving 1 man. You're 1 man. You just have 3 important missions in your life. So how you show up in one of them is how you're going to show up in all of them. And so we want to get out of the silo thinking and merge it into one. You are a singular man, and you do have the opportunity to serve each one of these missions all collectively as you, not as now I'm dad, now I'm business owner, now it's like now I'm in the dating game, I'm trying to go get laid, I'm trying to, whatever it is you're trying to do for yourself, trying to build yourself back up, get in the game, exercise, getting all that. So I'll give you a real example. Summers are challenging, as you probably know, where you're trying to work, you got the kids at home when they're with you, and you don't have help, or you do have help, but you feel guilty because they're doing it and not you. And there's so much rolls into this. But ultimately what it comes down to is this dad guilt, and this guilt that I'm over her serving one mission, but not the other, when in fact, again, we want to have 3 individual missions that serve into 1 man, into you. And I remember, gosh, this was 2 summers ago now. Time flies. And my oldest, he's driving, he's just graduated high school, he's getting ready to move on to college. And so he's kind of doing his own thing. And then I got the younger 2 who are a little bit closer together, not only in age, but also in relationship. And they're bored out of their minds. And I'm frustrated because I want them off screens. I want them doing stuff, but they don't have driver's license. They don't have camps this particular day. And they're all over each other. And it's just, I feel myself starting to rise because I work from home. So I'm trying to work. They're creating chaos. My older one's he's checked out. He's bouncing. And they were needy. They were needing to be fed. And I was just massaging the situation. I wasn't present. I wasn't clear. I had not given specific instructions. It was just like, be quiet, calm down. I'm working. I got stuff to do. I don't have time to deal with that. And so, of course, with them horsing around, them arguing, the littler one coming in, complaining and telling on the other one, it rose my frustration and ultimately my anger. And I wasn't angry at them. I thought I was. Wasn't angry at them. I wasn't angry at business. I was angry at myself because I had not set clear boundaries, clear instructions. So much so that the oldest comes back and he kind of sees later in the evening some of the horsing around that's going on. He takes a little Nerf ball. He rifles it. It hits me in the face. And I lost it. I lost it on this guy. And he's much bigger than me. However, I lost it on him. And God, man, I tell you what, as soon as it came out of my mouth, I automatically just felt pain because it wasn't him. It was me. Yes, he should not have rifled this little Nerf ball off my face. It stung for about a half a second, but everything that built up to that place just released. And boy, I was really angry. I was yelling at him, and I felt justified in yelling at him because he hit me in the face. And boy, I had to go back with my tail between my legs and really just pour into him about me and how I'm responsible. And I had to apologize and just explain to him what the reason why I reacted that way. And the reason was not him, it was me, and how I didn't set boundaries. I wasn't clear. And it was refreshing because he was open to listening. And I know he was very angry with me after I got angry at him, and we were able to come together. So I say all that because if you're not intentional, then things are going to get out of hand. And then you're going to have some old emotions that come up about yourself that you're telling yourself between your ears. They're going to come out, and you're going to do something that you're not going to be happy about. So what I want to address is there's a myriad of different old patterns, outdated myths that continue to exist in present day. And it all stems from a fog that most of us men have in front of our face, because we haven't tapped into feeling. We haven't tapped into what we really feel in these situations. Being divorced, or having a business and having to take care of the kids, and having a lot on your plate, and not stopping and saying, wow, I got a lot on my plate. This isn't easy. It's not that I'm weak. It's not that I need a lifeline, or that I need anything other than just recognition that, damn, this is hard, dude. And you're doing your best. And then having applicable tools. So what I'm doing now is I want to give you a little insight into some of the myths, and then I want to have some tools to help leave you with. First and foremost, that's the myth that, well, if I just work harder, make more money, that'll take care of all the problems. You tried that in your marriage and it didn't work. You thought that you could go and build this business and make some money, and that would stop her from complaining. That would give you more time to work out, hire a trainer, and take care of your body. That would give you the opportunity to have a sitter so you can go out on date nights, or that you can have a nanny at the house. Like you made excuses after excuses as to why you couldn't show up for your wife or your girlfriend, your children's mother, and here you are again. So we're going to get rid of those excuses, and recognizing that because you have to work, or that if you just work harder, that'll take care of everything else, is a myth. It doesn't work. Really, it ultimately just digs you deeper into the darkness. The next thing is, if you treat each role individually instead of all part of you, that's where guys get tripped up. So we want to make sure that you are addressing you the father role, you the business owner, and you as the individual that wants to take care of yourself. You're all one. And so it's all about connecting with you and getting to know you, and making sure that you are the priority first and foremost. And then the last one is, I will feel less guilty once, whatever, fill in the gap there, once the divorce is over, or once I find someone else, or once I can get over into 7 figures in my business, or the kids graduate high school. You could put a long laundry list of, I'll feel less guilty when fill in the gap. We want to get rid of that, because the guilt is real, and we want to address that at its core, not about something outside of yourself that's going to happen. It's not about anything external. It's all about internal. So that's what we want to be able to address. Okay, here's what I want to do. In just 5 minutes, we're going to talk through 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 key steps in this framework that I call the Ignite method. And this is where you can start to recapture time. This is where you can work less and make more money. This is where you can reallocate time that you're putting into small tasks to do things that really aren't in your blue flame. If you're familiar with my blue flame zone, that which you do best. So we want to reallocate some of that time here. But the first thing that we need to do in order to do that is to get clear on one specific outcome this week. that can move the needle for you in one of 5 areas, either in your fortune, your business and your money, in your family and your relationship with the kids, your fitness, your body, your focus, your emotional intelligence, growing and developing you, and then your foundation, which is your connection to a higher power. So what is one thing that you can do this week to move the needle in one of those areas? That's it. Do not create this big grandiose plan. That's it. The second thing we're going to do is we're going to ground it with a feeling or into purpose. So when we attach that outcome to a feeling versus the outcome, it allows us to be in the present moment. Because yes, you have an outcome that you want to create. And what we want to avoid is saying, I'll feel good, I'll feel healthy, I'll feel aligned once I have that outcome. Because what if you don't get it? And that's possible, you don't get it. Doesn't mean you didn't win, doesn't mean you didn't move the needle. So we want to ground it in a feeling that you as the man, as a father, as a business owner would want to experience when you have this key outcome that you're going to have at the end of the week. Okay, and then from that, we're going to create some necessary actionable plans based on that outcome that you want to create. What are 3 to 5 things that you can do this week to move the needle? Then you want to implement that. So you want to schedule that, put it in your calendar. Your calendar should not just have your meetings and your calls and busy work stuff. It needs to have these items in there. What are 3 to 5 things that you would not negotiate on? You put them in there to help you move the needle. Then you're going to track and review it. How are you doing? Maybe midweek, checking in. And then, of course, once you've getting to the place where you have everything laid out, it's all clear, is you're executing with energy, with fire, with passion. This isn't 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You need to be all in. Put yourself all in on this, execute on those 3 to 5 items, and see what the hell happens by the end of the week. So I'll give you an example. I had a very successful business owner. He does extremely well in his business, makes a ton of money. He's very busy. He's starting a new project, something in fintech, and he had a goal that he wanted to implement a new fitness routine just to kind of help him kickstart his body and his energy. So we picked the particular pillar, which was fitness. From there, he grounded in what he would feel like if you were able to do these things each week. At the end of the week, what would he feel like? How would it feel? And once he identified that feeling, we locked it in day 1. You're going to start feeling that today, even though you haven't had it yet. Start feeling it today. Then he put his 3 or 4 action steps in. Number 1, he already worked out, but he was going to add some cardio to his workout later in the day. So he worked out in the morning. He would do some running in the evening. Then he was going to do meal planning. So he was going to meal plan for the week, so he wouldn't have to show up at lunch and go, what the heck do I make? And then maybe even order out. The other thing that he did is he was going to up a supplement game. So he decided that he was going to do a protein shake and towards kind of the mid-afternoon. Once he normally felt like a little bit of an energy lull, he would do a protein shake, and that would get him primed for his afternoon, evening workout. That was it. Doing those 3 things to move the needle. Now, it's not like he has any more time than you and I. But what he did is he identified where in his calendar he could remove time that he was already spending on tasks that someone else could do, or busy work that was for busyness sake, not for actually production, and reallocate that time towards himself. And the results speak for themselves. Basically, at the end of the week, he's saying, I can't ever go back. I mean, that felt so good. It's not like the dude, his body morphed and transitioned in a week. That wasn't the point. The point was, could he commit to himself physically in his fitness and enjoy it to a place where he want to continue to have that habit going forward. I want you to know this is not like we are doing anything monumental here. It's just small tweaks. But what happens is you take 10 hours this week and you apply it to yourself. And the next week you take 10 hours and apply it to yourself. Following week. week after week. You take 10 hours from busyness tasks that are sucking your time and that can be done for someone that, makes 10, 15 bucks an hour, and you put that time towards you. Powerful, man. Absolutely powerful. So, brother, as I mentioned, those 3 pillars, we want to bring them all together. You are one man, and you can't be everything to everybody. So we really want you to recognize that you're playing a game, this balance game, this triangle game that is going to cause nothing but pain, overwhelm, exhaustion, and you're going to feel resentment because of the lack of freedom that you have in your life. It's time to be free. And I tell you, this process is obviously well mapped out. It is battle tested, and I want to bring it to you this coming Thursday. So on Thursday, August the 14th, 2025, when we recorded this episode, we are having the Guilt to Greatness workshop. This is 2.5 hours of intensive, AI-driven, and collaborative workshop for men to come together and map out the Ignite method that we just went through in depth with the help of AI. Yes, I'm going to be serving you particular prompts that are going to help you map out your Ignite method before we get off the call. So it's a great opportunity for you to hear from other men, see what they're doing, recognize that you're not alone in this, for you to apply the Ignite method into your life, to identify that one thing to help you move the needle next week. I'm talking Monday of next week. But in order to do that, you're going to be there on Thursday. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Eastern, August the 14th. It is a Thursday. Be on there. It is $10, guys. I want you to have some skin in the game. So yes, I'm charging $10 because I want your ass there in the seat because you got money into it. And from there, we're going to get after it. So if you just simply go to cletuscoffey.com/guilt to greatness, that'll give you access to register for the event. That'll give you obviously the link to join us. And I will see you Thursday the 14th, 10 a.m. Pacific. cletuscoffey.com/guilt to greatness. And I will go ahead and put that here in the episode show notes. So with that being said, guys, remind yourself that this is a process that people don't talk about. Men don't talk about. So go easy on yourself, but also recognize it's time to do something for you. You do enough for the business. You do enough for the kids. It's time to do something for yourself. Join us at the Guilt to Greatness workshop. We're going to get rid of that dad guilt. We're going to get you more time back. You're going to be working less, making more money. Yes, that's what men consistently say, that, wow, I thought when I was going to work a few hours less that things were going to collapse, and then they don't. And then they get addicted. Like, I want more of this. I want more time to myself. Because once you recognize that that's possible, you start thinking of ways in which you can reduce the amount of time that you have working and reallocate it somewhere else. It gets those creative juices going, but you don't know that until you're consciously aware that that is possible. So let's do it. Meet us, cletuscoffey.com/guilt to greatness. I look forward to seeing you there at the workshop.